Hey, hi, it's Monday night. What? Monday night? What? What kind of trash you talking? What kind of trash you talking? Monday night, wait, it is Monday, right? Okay. Okay, hang on, I gotta check the mic. Yeah, it's on. Hey everybody, Merry Twitchmas. Okay. You check the stuff 50 times. You should, right? If you're me, you do. But then as soon as you hit that live button, it's terrifying, really. You know what? I like my shirt too, Holmes. Hey, Holmes. I just glanced down, and I love it too. I got it at a sample sale. Donna Wilson. Does that name mean anything to you? She makes... we'll talk about Donna Wilson at some point. But if you know... Hey, Word and Bird Nerd. I'm so excited. Okay, I have so much to tell you. It's like... so I got it at a sample sale. And I got a jumper. A jumper that I really love. And this shirt. And it's great. It's one of those things that I wish I probably should have bought a couple of them. Because it's like, I'm going to wear this a long time. Under things, not under things. So thank you. So it's Twitchmas, so I'm doing all these extra shows, and I just am bursting with excitement because, okay. So Eric and I, we were going to go home next week, right, to Chicago. We were going to be in the States starting Thursday. But... we're going to go home this Thursday. So I have a lot to do, but I'm so excited because here's why. Okay, and by the way, if you're new here and there may be new people, I was on Iowa Public Radio today. I don't know if it went very well. We'll talk about it. But if you're new here, the first part of the show, is just a little chat, little intro, helps me calm down, helps me settle into it because I get quite, get nervous, even though I've been on stage and in front of, cameras like so long, all of my adult life, but I still get nervous because I care, it's because I care. Anyway, okay, so you remember, if you're an OG quilt nerd, and many of you are, especially on the bonus shows, who even knows these are happening except, the peeps, right? The hardcore peeps who I love so much. Words cannot express. Remember when, I think it was Thursday, after I was ill, I was doing the show and my mom came in and there were workmen here? Well, it's not good. It was raining in our apartment like 4 times at this point from upstairs, and it's near the bathroom. Like it's not good. And like there's been a bunch of people, like there's been like a property manager and like a head repair person and then like plumbers and also like maintenance. Nobody's wearing masks, and the numbers here in London, there's like almost 40,000 cases a day in London. So obviously you can ask workmen to put on a mask and, you can sort of try to be gone when they're here, but like this is a major job. They're going to have to do ceiling stuff, like it's going to be big. And it has to get done now. And it's like not sanitary, So we have this like crazy, very privileged, wildly unusual opportunity to leave and go to our other home early, And we were like, if it costs an arm and a leg, we're not going to do it. But it was crazy inexpensive. It didn't cost much at all to change our ticket. I don't know how. Eric is a wizard at these things, but he made it happen. So we're going to go home on Thursday. Oh my God! Gah! I'm so excited. And I told you all last time that instead of being home for like 10 days or something crazy that we were going to do, I'm going to be home all of January and all of February until I go to QuiltCon in Phoenix. So I haven't been in the United States since April. And by the way, the Chicago numbers, so London is like 40,000 a day cases. And in Chicago, it's like under 2,000. So it's like, well, and we don't have workmen in our, So we're very grateful that we can do that. And I am very grateful. And what's interesting, everybody's here. So the next thing that happens is I say hi to everybody in the chat. And so that happens next. But one other thing to say, is that I put on Discord today, our Quilt Nerd Discord, that, I have to remember to say something here. Hold on. Okay. I put this, like, the new schedule for December, because now I'm excited, but now we have to really be serious here, because I'm in London. One of the things that's been interesting about launching this show, which, by the way, since I was on public radio today, I jotted down a few notes in case the host asked me about this. The first show I did, y'all, was July 26th. So it's been just over 4 months that Quilt Nerd has been a thing. So from the time I started this, the time of the show has really been, it's been tough. I mean, 8 hours ahead of the West Coast, it's kind of intense. And so when I go home to Chicago on Thursday, it means that, for my friends here in the UK, it's not great, right? Because I want to try doing some shows in, like, prime time, man. Like, I've got 7 o'clock p.m. shows coming up, and 8 p.m. shows, and 10 p.m. shows, 10 p.m., after dark, Quilt Nerd After Dark. And so so that's very exciting. Although if you live here, it's going to be difficult, because this is the challenge that I've had. But being in the States, I get to play with some different times, for the American viewers. So that's happening. But I put a schedule in the Discord, and I changed my schedule on Twitch, on my channel page. But I got to tell you, forgive me, and I didn't do it right away until I talked to you about it. I have to change it again, because now we're going to be home a week earlier. So just check the channel page. If you're in the Discord, I'll try to, update there. But the channel page on Twitch will be up to date as much as I can have it be that way. So I'm totally stoked. Okay. So now let's say hi to people who are here. There's other things, other announcements. There's more business to attend to. It's all very fun, But let's get up here in the chat and see who's here. Okay, Padma, hi. Yeah, it's Twitchmas. It's another bonus. Stephanie K. Hi. This is great. It's 2 p.m. in the States, or in Chicago. Weird time. I know. It's 2 o'clock p.m. It's weird. For me, it's 8 o'clock. So it'll be exciting to do a show at 8 o'clock when it's, like, actually 8 o'clock for my American comrades. Sparkly, it's good to have you back. I'm so glad you're here. Robin's Nest. Yes. Hello. Yes. Oh, good. This will be fun to listen to while I'm cleaning up my craft space. That's what Robin's Nest is saying. And I can't, honestly, and this isn't about me, I can't think of a better thing to have to listen to while you're cleaning your craft space than a show about quilts, It's like, put it on, look at it, don't look at it, run the vacuum, the Hoover, and come back to it. Like, this is what it's for. This is the live stream format. It's very interesting. It's like a radio show, but then when you're, like, you're dusting something and you look over at your screen or your phone or your iPad or whatever, your tablet, and you, like, see something pretty, you're like, and then you just go back to what you're doing. It's great. It's a great format. I do that kind of thing all the time. I listen to live streams a lot. So good luck cleaning up. Hey, NDH 61160. Fiandor coming in with the soundtrack. I love it. It's another bonus. Susan R. Michael. Excellent. Your whole family, really? Well, I hope you have a really big family, because I need lots of love. Nose to Quilts. Hi. Quilting Nancy is here. Holmes is here, representing. Yvonne is here. God bless you. Oh, you heard. Okay, so you heard the interview. Word and Bird Nerd is here. Word and Bird Nerd is here. Carol Hempel is here. Yeah, yellow and blue. You're right. You're right. Oh, it's a little bit weird on the green screen, isn't it? Nose to Quilts. We'll talk about the booster shot in a second. Ivana, thanks. So about the interview today. It went okay, but there were two times. So I had to have headphones on because, if you're on the radio, you've heard it before, where like somebody calls into a radio station and there's like this crazy feedback and you can hear the show playing on their radio. You have to have headphones in so that doesn't happen. But, I'm talking to the void right now. I can't see you, I can't hear you, but I'm used to it. It's like, okay, I can keep my train of thought. I even bounce around a lot, you might have noticed, but I can usually come back to what I was talking about, right? Tangents are all right. But when you can't hear anything but the sound of your voice, I mean, cup your hands over your ears and just, start talking about something. There were 2 times when I was like, oh God, it was so disorienting. I kind of lost I had to work very hard to get back to what I was saying. And so I wasn't super pleased with it, but I think it was okay. I didn't turf out or anything. Anyway, so I hope that people who heard the broadcast will come. We didn't give the URL, and so like how to find me on Twitch or YouTube, but I think people will be able to do that. And I didn't want to be all promo-y. Well, you can come to twitch.tv/YoMaryFons or YouTube. It's Iowa Public Radio, man. That's my home state radio station. So, and I've been interviewed by Charity before, and she's so great. So I wanted to do a good job. Anyway, it was amazing to be asked to do that. That's very fun. And anybody who tuned in, I appreciate it. That's awesome. And Nose to Quilts asked about or you said, I'm glad you are better and you haven't had a reaction to the booster. Oh, Nose to Quilts, you did have a reaction. You say that it was horrible, but you'll take all the side effects for the protection it brings. 1000%, could not agree more. And what happened, so I got the booster on Monday. No, what am I saying? I don't know, Friday? No. But the only thing that I've had a headache, kind of like like one of those headaches that's kind of hard to get gone. It's gone now. But for a couple days, I had like this I need another aspirin kind of headache. And I also, that night and the night after, night sweats, I totally was like, ugh, and it wasn't terrible. I've had night sweats before when I was really, really sick 10 years ago with like the big sickness that I went through. And that was insane. I mean, but this was nothing like that. But I totally sweated it out, man. And when I had that second shot, that was crazy. For like a full week, I was like doing the night sweat thing, which is so unpleasant. You wake up and you're wet? No, not good. But now I'm right as rain. Things are good. Nose to Quilts, are you feeling better now? Because 1000% worth it. I'm just like, okay, body, get used to this little vaccine. You got this. And my body's like, we got this. We're riding this out. We're going to be protected from coronavirus and we're going to protect other people. Yeah, it's great. We got this. And now I'm like totally good. And very, 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 very more comfortable traveling, right? And we've got our COVID test scheduled for Wednesday because you have to have that to travel back and forth. So we'll get our PCR test, sign off, by a doctor or a person, the company now, that administers these tests. So we've got that scheduled. We'll be cleared to fly, get home. I mean, usually I stream on Thursdays. I mean, maybe I'll stream on Thursday. Check the schedule. I want to, but I also need to be realistic about like being in our apartment and like maybe I just need to like do snow angels on the floor. I don't expect there's going to be snow in there, but you know what I'm saying? I'll be so excited to be home. Oh my God. Word and Bird Nerd, you heard the thing. Is that okay? Did I do us right? I mean, I was like representing for us, the nerds. Little Bird Stitch. We got the birds. The birds are in the chat. Word and Bird Nerd, Little Bird Stitch. I'm saying we have birds. There's birds that watch the show. Okay, good. Nancy, okay, good. Yeah, the US government is limiting travel, and who knows when the UK will. I think it's wise to get home. Hey, Joyous Fibers. I'm excited you're here too. And yes, you're in Baltimore, Stephanie. That's right. It is 3 p.m. You've got to work, blah. I get it, 1,000%. And you get Bird Nerd gets things done. Okay. I just get so excited. Maybe these welcome intro things are too long. I don't know. What's the rush? You can listen for as long as you can listen, and then you can leave and come back, and who knows, But Karen, I am your company, and I am thrilled to be your company. And I think you're going to like all the content that I have to share. Yeah, I think so. You felt the joy. Okay, good. Faith, I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Maybe you've been lurking. It's all good. You don't even have to chime in about that, but I'm really glad to see you in the chat. Really glad. Okay, you're good. Nose to quilts. Okay. Oh my God, you were speaking deliriously. Was it funny or not funny? I'm kidding. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I had the Pfizer. Padma. Okay, now we get to the end of the welcome part, but I want to see this from Padma. So Padma says, I recently had the second booster, third COVID vaccine. Indeed. I'd never had a flu shot before COVID. Never got the H1N1 vaccine, hepatitis, everything else. And so Padma's like, I'm still dubious to how much it protects us, but you have to do it for other people, right? Even if you don't want it for yourself. And if I did have body aches and chills, and you did have some body aches, chills, lump in your lymph gland, it was worth it. You know what? The thing is, oh God, nose to quilts. Some people pay good money for that kind of experience. Yeah, Pat, I totally feel you. And I never got the flu shot ever until a few years ago when I got the flu 1 year, and then 2 years later, oh my God, so sick. And I was like, maybe I should get a flu shot. So I started getting a flu shot because we didn't get them as kids, but I started getting a flu shot, and I haven't had the flu since, So yeah, I mean, it's for other people. It's like wearing the mask, I feel like it protects me, but really it protects others, right? And so it's this keep calm and carry on kind of thing, do it for your fellow man sort of thing with the vaccine. And it's really nice because, these days we do a lot of stuff for ourselves, we're kind of in here in our phones, and we have our social media silos that we get into. And so it just honestly feels good to do something for my fellow man. Frankly, it's I'm vaccinated for you, really, it feels good. And the last thing I'll say, and then we can move on. I don't want to go to the hospital. The hospital's bad. And it seems to be true that if you get COVID and you've been vaccinated, your chances of going to the hospital are drastically lower. Cool. I'm into it. I'm thrilled. Okay. So, oh yeah, Dee Marie. Dee Marie is here. Yep. Ooh, whooping cough. Oh God. Okay. So here's what happens now. We've said hello. I've calmed down a little bit, I think. I've shared with you my news. And there's some business. Okay, public radio. Let me show you what I've made. Now, I'm a nerd for quilts, but I'm also a nerd for forms. Do you see this? Do you see this form? Look at this. I've made a form. The Quilt Nerd Content Plan. Because, I don't have my notebook. I have been working from a chicken scratch kind of notebook since this show started. It's ridiculous. Well, I made a form. Look at this. Oh yeah. I printed out 50 copies. This is amazing. Look, I've got the episode number, the day, the time I go on, the announcements, and then the intro quilt, right? And then the content. And then I have notes, right? After the show, be great show. 100 people for the first time, And I'm going to keep them. I like paper. I'm a paper girl. And I need it, and it's really great. Because with all the shows coming up in December for Twitchmas, I've got to plan ahead because it takes a lot of time getting these shows together. It really does, because I really want it to be good, you know? So I've got to plan some stuff out. So I've got my Quilt Nerd content plan. Yes. It's even clipped with a little binder clip. I'm so excited. Okay. So let me refer to my Quilt Nerd content plan. God. My younger sister and I, we used to play school. I mean, I know I'm not the only one, but like, we would play school when we weren't in school. I forget who it was, but some boyfriend, that had at some point was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was like, "Yeah, we did like workbooks, and I was the teacher and she was the student, but I also was the student because I wanted to work in the workbook." So it made me the nerd I am today. I know some of you are the same. Okay, so I was on public radio. How did that go? Good. Twitch schedule change again. If you just dropped in, I'm going home to the United States on Thursday of this week instead of next week. So there's going to be one more adjustment to the schedule. And a couple other things here. There's a sub goal. I set a subscriber goal for 50 subscribers in December. Is it possible? I don't know. Let's see. It's a lot, I have like 75 subscribers now. I've been doing this for 4 months. The audacity that, 50 people would use their Amazon Prime account, or that they would subscribe for $4.99 a month. 50 people? I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. But if I don't believe, who else is going to believe? So if you haven't subscribed, I think that would be great. I think that would be great. For $4.99 a month, you can subscribe to Quilt Nerd, and it's really encouraging to me. It helps me, see this as like, you know what I mean. It's great. You do what you love, and somebody's like, "Hey, here's a tip." And you're like, "Oh, okay." Like the buskers, in Covent Garden. You see some buskers, and they're not getting much money in their hat. But the ones that do, they got a little extra swagger. So it really pays. It pays to tip your performer, So sub goal, great. And then 2 last things. One is that the Fabric of a Nation exhibit in Boston. My mom and I are going at 11 a.m. on the 22nd of December. It's a couple weeks from now. And we've talked about this for well over a month now. Maybe a couple. If you are in the area and you're cool and you can hang, you can meet us there. We are not giving a tour. There's no lecture, but we're going for one night only. We're going to fly into Boston, see the show, and go home. It's just too big of a deal, this particular show, to miss it. Honestly, like, full disclosure, like, I'm putting the ticket, the Southwest, like, cheap fare that I got, I'm writing it off of my taxes. It's a work expense. I'm going to see this show because I'm a quilt nerd and it's a major show. So we're going to go. And if you're in the area, walk the show with us. It's cool, man. It'll be really fun. And that's it. So if you're on the Discord, there's an MFAB, Museum of Fine Arts Boston channel. And I just wanted to let you know that in the coming week, I'm going to be dropping in there and just kind of like getting a feel for like, I know a couple people are going to drop by and hang out, and walk the show with us. So I just want to get a sense of who those people are, how many there will be, and opening it up to the internet, letting people know where, is it ill-advised? Maybe. Come on. It's all a disaster and chaos. So I think we're safe. I think we're going to be fine. Ladies going to a quilt show, but come at your own risk, I guess. And the last thing is that I think that I can change my username on Twitch. I'm pretty sure I can. And so what I think I'm going to do is change it to Quilt Nerd, so that I'll be twitch.tv/Quilt Nerd, I think I can do that. And so I don't think it's not going to change anything for you. I don't think you're going to have to update anything or anything. But it occurred to me today. I was like, I think I can change that. And wouldn't that be convenient and smart to have it be Twitch, Quilt Nerd, right? So I might do that. So don't be alarmed. That's all the business. Look at this. Look, quilt nerd. Wait, Twitch. Hold on. Twitch name. Check. Don't read ahead. Don't read ahead. You know I don't like it. Okay, check. Okay. So now let's do this. I've talked a lot, and the content of the show really begins with the quilt behind me. There's a different quilt behind me every time. It was very organic how this happened, but so I've got this quilt behind me on the green screen, and let's talk about it first, and then after we look at this, I'll tell you briefly about why we're here and why we do this show. And if you have seen it before, if you're a fan of the Quilt Nerd Show and you're a nerd among us, you know why we're here. And it's not like I have to explain it to you, but if you're new or if you're just like seeing what this is about or whatnot, I urge you to stick around for like 10 minutes, okay? So at least, I mean, I want you to stay the whole time. So let me get small. I'm small. All right, so this quilt, look at this quilt, man. This is crazy. And hi, everybody, if anybody just came in. Oh, yeah, carbon paper. Totally. Yeah, okay, well, Mazda Quilts has already said, I like the movement in the quilt behind you. You look like you're in some kind of whirlpool of autumn leaves. 1,000%. It's kind of trippy. I mean, I put this quilt behind me, you know, I tested it out on the green screen, and I was like, is this a little much? Like, at this scale, with my head sort of in this vortex, like, is it a problem? But then I decided, no, it's not a problem at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the big version, you know, I mean, the sort of the official version of the quilt, so we can see the whole thing. Okay, so the full PDF. No, the full image. What's going on? Doing 5 things at once. That's probably why. Lovely. Here it is. Looking great. All right. So this quilt. Oh, there it is. Look at this ruffle. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, the ruffle is like, I'm living for this ruffle. And it's faded, the ruffle around it, but it looks like it's ombre. I don't think it's ombre. But it sure looks like it, and it's just very fabulous. Okay, so we are going to examine what this is. We're going to talk about where it comes from, and we're going to zoom in on this luscious. It's luscious. It really is sort of luscious. It's kind of, I don't know, this quilt has got some, I don't know, it's kind of sexy. I don't know. Okay, here's what I know about it. Here is what I'm going to tell you. So this quilt comes from the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. Yes, it does. It is called, or it's listed in their database as patterned quilt, and then in quotes, crazy, right? So it's considered a crazy quilt, which makes sense, okay, for a number of reasons. But it's also, I mean, why does the Met? Oh, hey, somebody did a thing. I just missed it. I got to figure out those alerts. You know, they're really cool when they work well, but I haven't totally figured that out. I'm new to Twitch. I'm new. But thank you for following, whoever you are. So, you know, the Metropolitan Museum of Art has chosen this quilt among many of them. Casey Semick has followed too. Thank you so much. There are a lot of crazy quilts. In fact, there are so many crazy quilts in the world. Maybe it's because of the number of them. They exist in such a high volume. I'm not a huge fan of the crazy quilt. It's just a bit much. It's a bit much, which is what that's the whole point with the Victorian crazy quilt, right? It was about this, not volume, but what's that Latin term? Horror vacui or something, like fear of empty space. You know, it's like a patchwork quilt. I mean, a crazy quilt. Carol Hempel. Carol Hempel gifted a subscription to Casey. Casey pause. I'm going to get right back to what I was saying. I just need to say, like, Carol Hempel is welcoming Casey. Casey, you just came in here. You just followed. And there is like one of the first quilt nerds in this community to be like, here's a subscription. That's pretty awesome. That's the vibe in here. Oh, and anybody who comes in who's new, do give them the welcome basket emoji. That'd be great. So thanks everybody. It's awesome. Okay. So yeah, the Victorian Crazy Quilt it's instantly recognizable. I mean, even people who don't, let me zoom in on this thing. Even people who don't know much about, quilt history or dating things or something. I mean, win friends and influence people by, seeing a crazy quilt and being like, oh yeah, it's probably, 1800 to, or 1880 to, 1910, something like that. Because they're just really easy to spot. They were super trendy. And then after they went out of fashion, like, of course you see some crazy quilt-like quilts, but I mean, this whole velvety, satiny, embroidery, decorative stitches sort of thing, it hasn't come back like this since. And you're talking a long time. I mean, you're talking about like almost 150 years ago. So, yeah, so crazy quilts are everywhere. They're kind of a dime a dozen, but this one is unusual. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit and tell you some of the stuff I know. I mean, it's really like, I don't want to say erotic. That's not right, but it's this purple passion kind of vibe that it's serving. I don't know. That's what I'm feeling. So 1885, okay, is the date that the Met is giving this, circa 1885. Makes sense. Probably made in New Jersey. Okay. Silk and cotton. It is 74 by 72 inches. 188 by 182. 188 by 183 centimeters. Okay. So, throw-ish size. Throw-ish. That's a question. I wonder, are most crazy quilts, I'm thinking that the answer is yes, but I don't know. Are most crazy quilts square? Right? I mean, a lot of quilts are not square. They are rectangular. Most quilts are rectangular. I would say if there's one shape that a quilt would be, if it would only have one shape, it would be a rectangle because people put them on their beds, and beds are not square. But I think crazy quilts are like, because they're decorative, that term is kind of wishy, but they're more decorative than anything else. I mean, when you look at pictures of people in this time period with their crazy quilts, I mean, they were draped over chairs, they were, on the couch, whatever, they were seen as sort of like, decorative objects. People weren't sleeping under crazy quilts, as far as I know. There are exceptions to the rule, but so the square thing is interesting. What else do we have here for you? Not a lot. That's it. That's everything that the Met has for us about this quilt. But let's zoom in a little bit because this is a show for nerds. And so there's not, what am I trying? You can't zoom in too much, on a quilt because we have to talk about construction. Now, okay, that's what I want to ask. Have any of you out there tonight made a crazy quilt? Now, I don't mean sewing with satin or velvet or whatnot. They said silk, but it really looks like velvet. I mean, it looks like leisure suit kind of crushed velvet, but I believe the Met, whatever they say. But tell me about this. I mean, I really want to know, like, what have you done like this? Because this, I have to say, like, I don't know how to put this together. And I know how to sew stuff. I mean, I know how to make quilts. I've made a lot of quilts in my life. And is this considered improv piecing? It is, right? Like, obviously it is. But what's the deal with this? Talk to me, nerds. Okay. Hell yeah, write down. I'm so excited to meet anybody who can come. That's so amazing. There will be other field trips, by the way. Boston, it's just the beginning. Maybe we'll do a quilt nerd retreat. I don't know. Why not? I would literally like to do that. Okay. I'm getting a binder. Everyone who's mentioned like a binder. I have binders like in weight in my life. There's like binders in the inventory. You know what I'm saying? In case I need a binder, and I often do. Ooh, Ivana. Okay, yes, Ivana is asking about upgrading to a tier 2 subscription, which is amazing. You want that emoji, don't you? I don't know yet, actually. It's a good thing. Oh, look! Oh! In my show notes, figure out, upgrade to tier 2. I got a place to put it. Thank you, Ivana, for asking, and I will find out. And you say, are you correct in saying that my mom is the first queen of quilting? Yes. My mom, the first queen of quilting, which is true, is going to spearhead the community quilt. I actually have not asked her about that yet. We talked about it, but I need to. Ask Mom, Quilt Nerd Quilt. Because if you're new here, you should know that very slowly we're putting together a group quilt. Probably it will turn out to be several group quilts, but we're making a Quilt Nerd Quilt, and it's pictorial, and it's going to be great. But I need somebody to help me on it, and my mother, who suggested it, is going to be the person who is going to take care of it, because it was her idea. Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's see. The Discord. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got it. Okay. See, I got it. Okay. Hey. So Casey Semick. Now I'm seeing you. You're from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's your first Twitch TV visit. You've been watching on YouTube. I'm so glad you're at the live show. It's fun. You can be part of it. You're here. People are gifting you subscriptions. I hope you feel welcome, because you are very welcome here. The ruffled edge. Yeah. Oh, Carol. Okay. Well, you're a good person. Let's see who else is here. Just trying to catch up. Yeah. Interesting. Oh yeah. The emotes that I've added I have to have my username ahead of it. So it's like Yo Mary Welcome Basket or Yo Mary Harriet or whatnot. So Susan Armichael has made crazy quilts with no decorative stitches. Interesting. Interesting. And Stephanie Cake, you've made some crazy quilts. Very interesting. Needle turned applique. That's interesting in terms of like how it was constructed. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, and you have an antique one too, Stephanie. So it's interesting about construction, what people are wondering about. So Susan Armichael's like, maybe it's foundation pieced, right? Ivana's wondering if you, if you do, does a crazy quilt require, by definition, this decorative stitching? Like, can like a crazy quilt be a crazy quilt if it doesn't have this, embroidery kind of stitching, right? So, I don't know. Really? That's great. Okay. Oh, and Stephanie Cake says her antique one appears to be on foundation with various edges turned under and then embroidered. It's pretty shabbily done. Yeah. Sometimes when I see a quilt that's just not very well made, you know what I'm saying. It's just kind of like rushed through. I've made a few that were pretty rushed myself, so no shade. I think like maybe the person who made it was like, I hate this. Like, I hate doing this. My sister loves making quilts. I hate making quilts. I don't want to do this. I want to go out and do whatever, but I have to because it's 1885 and I have to do this. I just love thinking about the person who made the quilt as very human, sort of giving them a character description that they're like, whatever, I don't care. I hate this. So, hey, Solid Notions, thank you for being a subscriber for 3 months. I'm so glad. The next 3 months of your life, I mean, in terms of like quilt nerdery and just like having fun with friends looking at quilts, it's going to be really good. I can guarantee it. I can. So Robin's Nest says she has a friend who does wall hangings using the same techniques. She can't follow a block pattern to save her life, but she can improve pictures like it's nothing. That's really interesting. I mean, if this was like, you know, of a certain size, like, it'd be beautiful on the wall, you know? I mean, I know that's not necessarily what you're saying, but it's true. Oh, Casey's saying, interesting, wondering about doing this kind of thing as a quilt as you go. Oh, Sonia, you subscribed. Oh, there's that. Okay. Sonia, thank you for subscribing. I'm really happy that you did. Quilt as you go. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah. Yep. Interesting. Rox is in the chat. Okay. So here we go. Solid Notions. If you're down with geeking on quilts, I mean, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life, because the show will go on forever because there's so much to talk about. Okay. So I need Crisp. It's my mascot. So any other thoughts about this? The quilt as you go thing is very interesting. And by the way, one thing that I have many folders in my life. And one of the folders, I mentioned 1970s quilts. Let me just get a close up on this ruffle. I mentioned looking at 1970s quilts recently. Like before the bicentennial, like early 1970s and late 60s. And I found a goodly amount of quilts with ruffles, like regular patchwork quilts and like a dust ruffle. In general, badly sewn on, like attached to the, it's not good. It's not good. I'm sorry. To each his own. Everybody, you know, has their thing. But like some of this, it just doesn't look right. It ain't natural is what it is. This is sort of sassy though. I like this. Anyway, so that's the quilt. It's from the Met Museum. I'll put the link to the quilt at the Met Museum, the online record they have of it in the Discord. We're still working out that Discord thing. No, it's like all a process. So thank you for your patience there. Actually, you know what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put an invite to the Discord in the chat right now. Okay. So if you've been looking for a way into the Discord, this link will work. Okay. So let me just open that thing. It's opening, and I'm going to get big. Big. So, and then we're gonna go on to the next thing. Okay, look, intro quilt, check. Okay, invite friends. Okay, gonna get that invite link. Invite people. Okay, great. So I think this link will. Here we go. So anybody who needs in there, use this. Okay. Now I'm going to quit Discord so I don't have any trouble with Marianne, you are not late. This is a Twitchmas stream. It's a bonus stream. You've got a quilt with a broad ruffle. You know, I mean, maybe would you ever take it off? I know. That's crazy. That's crazy to like mess with it with a vintage quilt, you know, or mess with a quilt that, you know, I mean, if you have it, it's probably pretty special. So maybe that would be bad. But I mean, would you use the quilt, or would you have a different relationship with it if you removed the ruffle? Is that insane? Am I completely out to lunch? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm glad to be given. I'm serving the bonus today. Okay. So we're going to go on to some really exciting content. I try to make it exciting every single time. But before we do, there's a brief thing to say, and that is to say that we're here doing this show because quilts are very special objects. They're so special that you can have a whole show about them many times a week, and people will come to it, and the show can be on for a very, very long time because quilts are so special. There's just an endless amount of content that can spring from them because quilts are beautiful. unless they're not. You've got ugly quilts, right? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder or whatever. But, when you see a quilt that just like, it doesn't work because maybe it has a ruffle, it's interesting because, the idea of a quilt is that it's this beautiful patchwork thing. Well, quilts are more complicated than that. Quilts are not always beautiful patchwork, lovely things. Sometimes they're sort of, weird looking, or they're sort of, hastily put together. And the closer you look at a quilt, especially one that's like weird or has a ruffle or is like, not sewn very well, or sewn by someone who's perhaps under the influence of alcohol or drugs. I don't know. I mean, it gives the quilt more humanity, It sort of makes you think more deeply about the person behind the quilt, the time in which it was made, the kind of environment in which it was made. I mean, quilts are documents. They are evidence of life. And quilts show up in fashion, and they show up in home decor. They are on the run. They are at the Met Gala. Speaking of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, A$AP Rocky, better known as Rihanna's date, for the Met Gala this year, wore a quilt. Did you see that? Did you notice? He was literally wearing a puff quilt, also called a biscuit quilt. He was wearing it to the Met Gala. That was his little ensemble. And it doesn't get bigger than that. I mean, come on, he's on Rihanna's arm, right? And he chose to wear a quilt because quilts have this we put this huge cultural and emotional weight on quilts. And so these objects are like, every one of them tells a story. And what quilt was, think about the person who made that quilt, that puff quilt, that biscuit quilt. Think about the person who made that. We do know who made it. What was it, like 50 years ago or something? Who could possibly have guessed that it would be in New York City on the Met runway? But the power of a quilt is that it has all these different lifetimes. I mean, a quilt that's made in 1900, lasts all the way up to 2020, where our friend Marianne has it in her house, so it's gone through these different lifespans. Quilts are they're really cool. They show up everywhere in art and fashion, as I mentioned, and they're in museums and they're in our homes. And if they were just pretty blankets, it just wouldn't be enough content. But this show can exist because there's so much to learn about these things. And when you look at a quilt from a particular time and place, it gives you this opportunity to learn all about that particular time and place. I mentioned on the radio today, we were looking at Sarah Carter of the Carter family a couple weeks ago. Johnny Cash, June Carter Cash, Mama Maybelle Carter, those people, American country music, roots of American country music. Sarah Carter made quilts, and I've been on like the hunt to see if anybody's got them, and who knows if we'll find them. But because we were looking at the Carter family and the quilts that we know exist somewhere, hopefully there was a fire, so maybe they are gone, which is like, I can't think about it, I'll totally cry. But because we looked at the Carter family and the quilts that are hopefully there, we went on this journey about this guy Harry Smith, who recorded all this American folk music, and Bob Dylan was worshipped at his altar basically because he was this pioneer in getting down and documenting all this folk music, and he was into quilts too. And so we watched this totally obscure 1960s abstract film that he made about Seminole patchwork. It was ridiculous, one of my favorite shows. And so we just don't know where we're gonna go, with these quilts, but we go everywhere. And that's just what it is. So that's what the show's about. I hope you stuck around long enough to hear me tell you why we're here. But instead of telling you, how about I just show you? Let's get into the content. Okay. I mean, it's all content, but you know what I'm saying. All right. I'm small. So the first thing to do is yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, Saturday. We talked about the American Girl doll. Right? I found this. Okay, remember we talked about this on Saturday night. I was minding my own business, and I came across, no! Don't read ahead. I came across this. I wasn't looking for this. I'm never looking for anything, right? When I find this stuff. And by the way, I write articles, I give lectures. I'm an editor of a magazine for most of my adult life about quilts. So I know my stuff, and I'm learning more all the time, and I'm always researching quilts, right? So I go down these rabbit holes and I find this stuff. So I'm not looking for an American Girl doll I'm a little bit old for it, but I find this quilt and it's actually a toy, right? It's part of this collection of collectible stuff for this doll, this American Girl's doll. This is Addie. She's one of the dolls that's in the American Girl collection. And on her bed, that you can buy for $1 zillion, she comes with a quilt. There's this little quilt, okay? So let me tell you, today, I am looking for whatever I'm looking for. And what do I find but this? Look at this. Does this not look a whole lot? And I don't think this is an algorithm thing, people. I don't think Google is, I could be wrong, but like when I talk about like, I need a new pair of like black boots, Eric. I think these are busted. Because it happens to you, like the next time you go and look at your phone or something and there's an ad for a pair of black boots. It's horrifying. It's scary. It's just the way it's going to be for the rest of our lives. But I don't know that like, I think it was luck that I found this quilt because I'm not sure that Google's that good. Now that I say it, I actually think it's probably Google, but I don't know. I don't even care. Hey, Dana, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Let's see. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, good. Okay, the link worked. Anyway, so SJ's here. SJ Pepper. So glad you're here. Good. Sorry. I was like looking at the chat and Okay. So this quilt, let's just compare. Let us just compare. And do I have the other? No. Okay. So you see this little guy, and I could pull up the other pictures, but I mean, you can see pretty well. Like, look at this. And now, you know what's funny? It's so similar to the quilt that I found today that is now in our show. It's so similar that it's like, wait a minute. Is this like a copyright thing? Is this like a weird copyright thing? Is this like a Smithsonian Institute, Harriet Powers kind of like, is this problematic? Because here's the deal. Guess what this quilt is? Okay, hang on. I got to get my stuff. This quilt is amazing. Look at this. Look at it. This could have been the intro quilt. I thought about it. Believe me. This quilt belongs to the Art Institute of Chicago. I'll be home soon. I'm leaving on Thursday to be home for 2 months in Chicago. Anyway, okay. I keep saying it because I'm so excited. So this quilt is part of the Art Institute of Chicago's collection. I'm dead. The border is so beautiful. I mean, I've never seen a quilt border like that. Are you kidding me? Like, it's just sublime. And what is it? Is it how is that working? Think about that as I tell you what this is. So we know who made it. It's made by Sarah Ann Wilson. Okay. She was born in 1801. She died in 1900. This quilt is an album quilt, and it's dated 1854. Okay. Now let me get to the record here at the Art Institute. Here's what they say about this quilt. Okay. It's just too fabulous. It's so beautiful, right? So beautiful. And if you look closely, there's a lot going on in this quilt. It's fabulous. From the Art Institute. Made before the Civil War, as indicated by the date inscribed in a square in the bottom row. Wha-bam. That's her signature, okay? Terribly pixelated now for you, I know. But Sarah Ann Wilson, right down there with the date. Oh, it's so rare. It's so rare that happens. This is really important. This quilt depicts African American figures who seem to be a family. The figures are sensitively portrayed with appliqued and embroidered brown fabric comprising their face and hands. I mean, oh my God, look at the little apron. look at that apron. It's so loving. Like, this quilt to me, like that last quilt was like, come to my boudoir. This quilt is like, I love you. I just feel like it says I love you, or it says welcome. You know, you are welcome here. I don't know. It's like intense. The figures are sensitively portrayed. Okay, I read that. The familial narrative is reinforced by the hand and heart motif in the bottom right corner. The specificity, okay, of the portrayal and the similarity of the figures to those in another quilt depicted here. What? It's not depicted here. Okay, figure out what that means. Suggests that these figures may represent the maker's own family. Although historians know little about Wilson, she may have been a free black woman living in New York. So yeah, origin New York, made 1854. Inscription, Sarah Ann Wilson, August 1854. Dimensions, 217, okay, hold on, 85 and a half by 100 inches. Otherwise known as 217 by 255 centimeters. It's big. It's huge. Huge. You get to 100 inches in your quilt dimension in any way. That's big. What is this border? Who is this person? OMG. Oh, and you know what? I gotta tell you. I'm freezing. I don't love album quilts. I mean, you know I love a pictorial, so it's a pictorial. But album quilts, like, you know, they don't always work for me. There's so many different kinds, I know. But this one, if you don't like this quilt, you gotta check your head, because it's just amazing. Okay, so let me get back to you all and see what you are saying about it. I know, Marianne, I've never seen anything like it. Oh yeah. So the American Girl. Hang on, we'll go back to that. Look at those three figures in the middle. Now, I don't know. Suddenly, I'm a little. My sort of radar kind of thing is going off. I mean, it's clearly the quilt, right? And Addie is an African-American little girl. I mean, that's the time period in which she's living, right? In the United States, however many states we had at the time, in the 1850s or something. I think it was pre-Civil War that she was, and the Civil War is like 1860, right? 1860, early 1860s. So, I mean, it's obviously the right time period, so they got that right. Did they get it right that maybe Ms. Wilson has a family that might want to be paid royalties for the quilt being, because, I mean, look at this. All right. Three figures. Here's the three figures in the center. Here's a vase with flowers. Here's a house, okay? I know I saw the vase and the flowers, and I know I saw the three people. Yeah, there's a vase, there's three people. Okay, I am going to shut this window because I'm freezing. Hang on. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, and I found my slippers. That's great. Okay, so what do you think? Are we mad? Are we upset? Yeah, I think there's if you're a subscriber, you get access to the special emotes, and there's a bee emote that Robin's Nest Creation has just used to great effect. If you're mad about something, you can put a bee in the chat. Oh, really? Write Down saw Harriet Powers pillows being sold in ads on Pinterest? Really? That's not good. Really? Okay, so Stephanie K, in terms of, let's go back to the quilt. Stephanie's wondering, is the inner border sort of added like a flange on either side? Interesting. You know what? Thank you. Flange. That's what I hadn't had that word. I knew there was some kind of, it wasn't petty points or whatever, but it's a flange. Thank you. Exactly. It seems like that makes sense. I mean, it does make, oh, how strange. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Oh, wow, this is like making my brain really, really confused. So there's this way up at the top. Okay, look, way up at the top, there's this row of the scallops, okay? And then you've got it going down the left-hand side, and then you've got it going down the bottom, and then you've got it going up here. But then they're like interlocking. Do you see what I'm seeing? Like, it looks like there's three layers of scallops right here. But there isn't. There's just two. But the way she's interlocked things, like, do you understand what I'm saying? Why my brain is like is like trying to catch up with this? Yeah, the little, yeah, it's clearly the quilt, the American Girl one, right? Interesting. SJ notes that the American Girl doll company, is it Pleasant Company, is pretty famous for doing exhaustive research to get their details right. And you know what? Maybe somebody did get paid. I mean, why should we assume that they were just ripping it off? Well, we can assume that because that happens. But yeah, Marianne, I mean, they clearly were using this to make that quilt. I just hope somehow somebody connected to Sarah Wilson got some money. So Susan's asking, is it like dressmaker's lace here on the outside? Well, what's nuts, y'all, is it looks like it's bound. I mean, look at the scallops. Do you see the print? Like, do you see this print? I mean, it almost looks like the sashing print. You know? Like, is this literally binding? Because it looks like it's like painted or something, but it isn't. It's not painted. And then look at this. You see this right here? Look at the fading. I think it's bound. I think that there is a literal binding on these scallops. You know? Marianne says, I think the center of the green dots should be red. And the red is faded or threadbare. Agreed. Yes, the center of the green dots. Yep. Yeah. And I almost wonder... No, okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean... Yeah, and let's look at the Addie quilt. That's good. So Marianne's saying, if you look at the Addie quilt, yes. The layers of the border are distinct and separate. Yep. That's right. So, I mean, Pleasant Company... It's true, like, it's a huge company, and if it's true that they're doing all this research, you mentioned that, SJ said it, you'd think they wouldn't pull any garbage, about, like, ripping off an American quilt. It's like a classic, precious, American quilt. But the Smithsonian did it, so, I don't know, it's pretty interesting. And I'm telling you, I did not... see this Sarah Wilson quilt before today. It just happened. It was a happy accident. And I actually have another happy accident to share with you. Okay, we've got Quilter 462. Quilter 462 has put a link. Oh yeah. Yep. We looked at this yesterday. The quilt itself, right? The Addie quilt itself. Now let me actually, you know what? Hang on. Oh, that's a really good size of it. Hang on, people. I'm gonna show you the Addie quilt next to the Sarah Wilson quilt, and then we can move on. But wait a minute. Where are you? Hang on. Gotta find my thing. Oh, I see. Okay. Yep. Great. Okay, let me put the Addie quilt, like a flat shot of it, into the mix here. So this is a really good size of it. Yeah. Whoop. No, don't read ahead. Okay. So here is the Addie quilt. Yeah, the heart and hand in the lower right. I mean, there's just no denying. And I just don't think that it's so the quilt. I just feel like they cleared it. They just had to. I need to believe that they did, you know? Okay, so let's move on. I'm going to click this and I'm going to do this. Okay. Adding, oh, interesting. So SJ, you know what? A lot about Pleasant Company. I'm really glad because this is some good information. SJ says she doesn't know about Addie, but there was a lot of press about the doll company's work with the Nez Perce tribe to make sure their Kaya doll was accurate. See, I have faith, man. I have faith. Oh, that's a good link to that story. Okay, thank you, SJ. Okay, and Quilter462 says American Girls fandom site, which is what you just put in the chat, says it was based on Sarah Ann Wilson's quilt. I need sound effects. You can do that on Twitch. Like, yay! Big applause. I'm so glad. Did you put that link in the chat? Yes, you did. So Quilter462 has americangirl.fandom.com link in there that has the accreditation. I am so glad. I'm so glad. I don't want to be mad. You know, I want to be happy. Thank you. MX, I'm so glad you're here. Listen, you know what? Get the groceries. We're here. It's all happening. It's all happening. Okay, now I am going to run. I need some water really quick. There's so much. Look, there's so much to do. Addie quilt, check. But there's 5 more things. There's a lot of stuff. But I got to run to the ladies' room, get some water. I will be back in less than 5 minutes. But you know, what am I going to do? I need to take care of the animal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm the animal. Okay, BRB, super quick. Did you see that? I put a chip in my mouth and it looked like the green screen made it look like some, like, I don't know. It was weird. It was glowing. It was a normal chip. Okay. Mic seems to be on. I got a sweater. It's very cold. Here, we're back. We're back. We're better than ever. Okay, so here we go. What's next? Thanks for giving me a second. So I had this, this wonderful follow-up for you today, right? This Sarah Ann Wilson quilt. Amazing. Well, I have another one. I have another follow-up, like remarkable, like really? Can I believe my eyes kind of thing? Do you remember? It's just nuts. It's all a gift. Like everything is a gift. Everything is surprising. It's just, if you can be excited by the world, you won't cry, as much about the state of everything. You know what I'm saying? Things like this just make me so happy. So last week, maybe anyway, the show when the workmen were here and it was raining inside our flat and my mom came to the show and I was like, we looked at press photos. And this was one of the press photos that we looked at. And there were all these wonderful press photos on eBay of quilts and quilters. And oh yeah, I've got to write that guy. Well, that's not a show note. That's a note. That's a Post-it note. I've got to write to that guy who sells these press photos and see if I can get a bulk discount. Because there's a few of them that I really want. Write press photo guy. Exclamation point. So, when we look at these press photos, unfortunately, the watermark is in our way, but you can't blame a person because, these photos are copyrighted. They were used by newspapers, whatever. So sorry about the watermark. You can't do anything about it. But this is one of the photos that I pulled into the big folder of press photos, right? And it's this toucan situation. And it's a quilt from the 1980s. What is it? 1984. And it's called Amish Toucan, okay? Obviously, it's a black and white photo. I didn't even know the maker's name because it wasn't on the back of the photograph. So I was just like, okay, Amish toucans, like you do, whatever. Well, what do you think I found today? What do you suppose I found? I did not find a toucan. I found this. I found this. Ah! Are you kidding? Look at this. It's the quilt. It's the quilt, and it's in full color, and there's a woman, and that's the quilt. It's the Amish Toucan quilt. Can you believe that? And where I found it. This is the thing. And this is the thing. One day I'll figure out how to press a button and have two things side by side, right? That would be good for the Wilson quilt and for this one now too, but I don't have that yet. So I had this, it was in a folder actually. This woman is Marjorie Claybrook. And hey, it's Kevin. Hi, Kevin. I have to respond to your email. Everything was perfect. Thank you so much. I'm quoting Kevin, everybody, in my article on quilts and fashion in Modern Patchwork Magazine for the Big QuiltCon 2022 show. Kevin, you're a dream. Thank you so much. So Marjorie Claybrook is this person, and she made this quilt in 1984. And so I had a folder for her because I had found some other quilt that she made on my journey through the quilternet, and I really liked what I found, and so I made a folder for her, right? And there's this big, massive hard drive, right, where it's different folders for all this wonderful content, and so I had made a folder for Marjorie Claybrook, and I don't know how. Or I don't know, but I came across this photo either in my folder or somewhere else, and I was like, OMG, it's the toucan. It's the toucan. Isn't that something? So then I was like, well, who is this person? Let's take a look at who this is, this Marjorie Claybrook person. So I've got some information about her. I really like this quilt because, when you put it in context of 1984, you're talking about really like it's the birth of the art quilt, the studio art quilt at that time. I mean, early, like pretty early. And I have so much to learn about the studio art quilt movement. I want to know everything. I want to learn about Yvonne Porcella and Sakwa and all those things. I want to learn so much more about. I can't speak, really with, any like authority on it, except for being a quilt nerd who knows some things about it. But this quilt's really interesting to me because there are solid fabrics in it, and there's solid fabrics in it, and solid fabrics were available right at that time. But one thing, and I have a quilt that my mom made around the same time. I could show it to you, but I shouldn't because it's for my trunk show. It's for the show that I do for guilds when they hire me to talk to them. So I feel like it's kind of special and I shouldn't just give the game away, right, on a live show. But it's similar. My mom did her kind of like foray into art quilting around, I think, this same year, or maybe like it was like 83, 84, maybe 85. And there's horizontal strips, same quilting. It's crazy. It's just really simple. It's solid colors. The fabric is like not great quality because it was just like whatever she got at the Ben Franklin. I mean, it's kind of tattered now. I mean, the fabric that most quilters have the privilege to use these days, the Moda, the Free Spirit, these different companies, it's fabulous. If you buy fabric at, a Walmart or a Joann's, this fabric is great. But the quilter's cotton that a lot of quilters are used to, it's really high thread count or whatever it is. It's cotton broadcloth and it's really good. But before we had all those companies, the fabric was different. I mean, you can feel it in some of these older quilts. So when I look at the Toucan Quilt now in color, I see a similar kind of deal here. I see, maybe there weren't that many colors to choose from. Mom didn't have that many colors to choose from when she made her artsy quilt, with solid, there's like a navy blue, a white, a dark red, and like a hunter green, So this is an interesting quilt to me because it's similar in those kinds of ways. Yeah. Okay. So shows and comments come together. The Amish toucan. So Padma says, I was trying to remember what that was called because when you showed it, I was wondering if the Amish did any people or animals in their art. And then you mentioned on a recent show that they don't. So Amish toucan is unusual. 1000%. I'm so intrigued by this quilt because Amish, they're all about like no graven images, no embellishment or, adornment, it's very plain, plain. But Marjorie's like working with that plain thing to some extent. I mean, one block is very plain and it's stripes. Another block is like a crazy toucan, So she's playing with that aesthetic. The polyester batting, Marianne, exactly. You get the puffy effect that you need 2 layers of cotton to achieve. We talked about puffy quilts the other day, right? I love the puffy quality of a lot of these quilts from the 1980s. And indeed, my mom's quilt that I have for my trunk show, it's torn on the bottom, and that poly batting, just like basically plastic, is coming through, and it's the kind of thing that's so like fibrous and synthetic that God help you get one of those fibers like in your eye, like you'll never get it out. It's just painful to even think about, but it happens because it's like such, it's just not the best batting in the world, but that's what it was used for. I mean, that's the same kind of batting that's used in like toys, right? In like stuffed toys. So interesting. So Quilting Nancy, it says about the Amish comment that Patton made, local Amish here, where are you, Nancy? Remind me. Can use animals, people, or whatever they want if they sell the quilt. Oh, that's so interesting. There's a local girl who designs the most beautiful quilts, but she can't keep any of them. God, I didn't know that. Wow, that is a nerd. Okay, that's a nerd moment for sure. Yo Mary is the prefix for these emotes. The Yo Mary nerd apple. I think this is a moment for the Yo Mary, the nerd apple emote. I mean, that's a nerdy kind of thing to know. Quilting Nancy, it's fabulous. Like, yes. quilters who are Amish can make quilts with, more, design, different things, but they can't keep them because, they're a certain culture, but they can sell them. I mean, that's deep cut, on the Amish quilt tradition. Fascinating. No, the poly quilt batting will never die. And by the way, oh wait, M. Hicks. Okay, now you and Myra M. Hicks, you have a special privilege, okay? I'll talk to you about it. Okay, yeah. I'll talk to you about it later. Okay, M. Hicks, I got you. I'll talk to you about the thimble thing later. Okay. So yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, the city quilts, that's on the list. Okay, anyway. So here's Marjorie Claybrook, and I'm going to read to you about her. Have a drink of water. Okay. I've got some more for you. All right, Marjorie Claybrook. This is from the New Georgia Encyclopedia. Got my paper here. Marjorie A. Claybrook was born on August 13th, 1940. She passed away in 2011, okay, from complications surrounding a brain tumor. What I have here is a piece of text from the New Georgia Encyclopedia, and then also I have her obituary. Those are the two things that I found about her that were the most substantive. So this is from the encyclopedia. Margaret A. Claybrook was born on August 13th. Hold on. Okay, 1940. Okay, she discovered her passion for quilting in 1977 after attending a quilting class at the Toledo Museum of Art in Ohio. By her own account, Claybrook's work was influenced by her interest in historic ornament and textiles, and in art as language. By the way, can I just point out the obvious? Another kimono. What is the deal with the kimonos in the 80s with these women doing the kimonos? I'm telling you, if anybody knows, obviously some people will be able to speak to this. Martha Seelman, the executive director of SACWA, there's going to be, something has been written, but I mean, they were this particular kind of quilt. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Yvonne Porcella was doing it, but just so many people. I don't know. I need to know more. The passion Claybrook had for her work is shown through the countless colorful contemporary quilts she made through her life. Claybrook's work has been shown in many galleries, love this, and fine art exhibitions, and she has been featured in the New York Times. The city of Atlanta, this is interesting, bought 2 of her pieces, which are part of a permanent installation in the international terminal of the city's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. How many times, in usual circumstances, are we through the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport? I mean, Atlanta is a huge hub, and I definitely tried to find which pieces are in that airport. I feel like someone who is in this chat right now, my nerds, someone can find that. Susan Armarkle. I feel like someone can find those works. I mean, I was looking in the collection, the Hartsfield-Jackson collection, art collection. I was really searching to see where these Marjorie Claybrook quilts are in the Atlanta airport. It would be so awesome the next time I'm there, the next time you're there, to go find them. But I couldn't find them. I feel like someone else will be able to find them, and I don't know when this was written. It could be that they're not on display anymore, but a permanent installation at the international terminal of the Atlanta airport. It's a huge airport. They probably have a lot of art up, it's a huge hub. So yeah, exactly. Write down. Oh yeah, Cunningham. Yeah. Write down 1,000%. Joe Cunningham is on my list. I love him. He's really great, and I saw that post that he did about the quilts in fashion. Totally. He's really, really a special person. Okay, but yes. So Claybrook also helped organize the Augusta Quilt History Days event in the 1990s. So of all the quilt documentation books that exist in the world, you know, the quilt documentation days, the state documentation projects. One of the things I'm so excited about when I go home, I'm leaving on Thursday, y'all, a week early to go back to Chicago. All my books are there. All my books. I have so many. I have so many wonderful quilt books. I mean, Quilt Nerd Infusion, like, forget it. Like, the reason I mention it is because the Georgia book, did it come up earlier tonight? Yeah. The Georgia book is probably the most beautiful one of all of the state documentation books. I mean, there's so many wonderful ones, but Georgia, it's on my mind. Really, really great. And so it's interesting. Claybrook also helped organize the Augusta Quilt History Days event in the 1990s. She's got to be all over that book. She has to be, right? Because that's the book that they made. Anyway, it's really, really good. So she was a trailblazer, 1000%. I love this. This is called the Black Durry. The Black Durry. Does anybody know that word? I do not. It's the Black Durry. Let me make sure I spelled it right. Yeah. I'm not sure. I feel like, you know, well, I want to know what that word is, where it comes from. A Nunmaker. A Nunmaker High. If you want to go to heaven, you have to go through Atlanta. Oh, I'd love that. I like the Atlanta airport. I think it's great. What? Wait a minute. What? Marianne? Are you serious? Marianne says, I accidentally made the screen smaller and saw the Twitch home screen, and someone is making a kimono jacket live? What? Okay, hang on. Really? That's very strange. That's very strange. What? Can you put the link in the chat? Like, this is a singularity kind of moment. Seriously, put the link in the chat and I will click on it and see what, I mean, that's really strange. Marianne, you're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. I love it. Okay. A Nunmaker says, Atlanta ATL Airport also has a great collection of African sculpture and art that used to be on display between the domestic terminals. I know what you're talking about. Those are gorgeous. I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a lot of them, right? And they're very like flowing, like the different, there's families, right? Like it's like a mother and a child, or a father and a mother and a child. And they're very like, the figures are sort of flowing into each other and things. Like I love those. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm right, aren't I, about those? Gorgeous. Carol Hempel's daughter is or will be in the Atlanta airport today or tomorrow. And Carol's going to text her to be on the lookout for quilts on the walls. Excellent. 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 That's amazing. Okay, Marianne, if you get that link, hook us up. And there's 2 more quilts I have from Marjorie A. Claybrook, and I'll read to you a little bit from her obituary too. Obviously, I don't have super high quality images of these, and look how I did the file name on this, Marjorie Claybrook Need Info, because where I found this was on Flickr from some like really obscure Flickr page, and there wasn't a title, there wasn't a year or anything, but I really like this. Look, it's got the puff. It's got the puff that we've been talking about, and those solid color fabrics. To me, you know what? This reminds me a little bit, just kind of a little, Susan Hoffman and Molly, what's her name? Upton. You know, just that vibe, right? Like that kind of shiny sateen green, the whole color scheme. And then the puffiness, and like here we have some lame. There's these lame birds. It's crazy. It's crazy. I know, Sparkly. I love this. I love this quilt. And part of, you know, the whole art quilt thing, the movement, was you had artists trained in other media who were super into quilts because quilts were starting to be seen as art objects, right? They were being hung on the walls of museums. People were like, oh, you know, I'm a painter, but I've really like wanted to experiment with textiles, blah, blah, blah. Like now the quilt can be a medium I can work in, you know? This quilt is clearly made for the wall. It's not meant to be a bed quilt. It's pictorial, but it's also not like the Sarah Wilson quilt we looked at earlier. It's pictorial, but it's a bed quilt. I mean, it's clearly a quilt meant to be used. I mean, rarely. Sarah Wilson was probably like do not use that quilt for anything, please. But if you needed a cover, you could use it. This quilt is not for that. It is a picture. It is a whole picture. Oh, okay. Can't watch the jacket. Okay, well, the jacket we may... Oh, wait, hold on. To Our New Soul. Okay, hang on. I gotta see this twitcher who's twitching about a kimono jacket. That's insane. Quilt with a... Okay, kimono pattern. Okay, no quilts are being cut up in this twitch. And she's using a serger. This is interesting. Okay, this is interesting. Wow. Oh, Padma. Indian Bandar Duri is a flat weave rug. Okay, hang on. Thank you for that. Oh, yeah. Okay. Indian Bandar Duri is a flat weave rug. This is like clearly referencing a woven object. I mean, you said that and now I see it. So if you hadn't said that, would I have said that, before? I didn't. But now that we know the word Duri, I think it's great. I love it. Look at that brown and pink. It works for me. And again, sorry, I'm going to look at the Twitch thing in just a second, but this, is it sateen? What am I looking at? Fabric people, tell me. I mean, this kind of shiny material, it's not lame, this stuff up here, but that sheen. Why does that sheen happen? What is that sheen about in this particular fabric from this particular time? Why does it look like, not glazed, but it looks sort of like, I don't know, not oily, sort of crispy somehow. What's up with that? Hey, Mark. Hi. You know what? Oh, Mark, thank you so much. Welcome to the video magazine that you gave the term. I'll never forget it. I gave you props today on Iowa Public Radio because I was interviewed about this show. So yeah, what is up with this sateen? I'm glad you're here. Very glad. What's up with this thing? Oh, look, she signed it. That's great. Black Dury and Claybrook. Okay, hang on. I gotta find this Twitch person. Okay, hang on. Okay, what's going on? So yeah, that's kind of crazy. Okay, cozy kimono jacket. It's happening right now. Oh wait, maybe it did happen. It looks like it was 2 hours ago. Cozy kimono jacket. Is that what you're talking about? Oh wait, no, it's here. Okay. Okay, you know what we can do? There's a thing called a raid, and you can like raid someone's channel, and like that means all of, I don't really know. I mean, does someone who's a Twitch person know how it works? Because we can like raid her channel, and then like all of us go into her room, right? Oh God, I wish I knew. I just never had any like opportunity at all to go into to like raid someone's channel, but it'd be so fun. Okay, hold on. Let's just do this. You know what? Sorry guys. Sorry to jump around a little bit, but because I don't know how to properly, like if I sign, like I'm watching her channel and that means I'm like in the show. I don't know if she can see me or not. I can't see when somebody comes in to watch the show unless you chat, because lurkers are totally fine. But some people, when you like click on their video, their live stream on Twitch, like it's happened to me before where like I click on somebody's live stream and they're like, oh, hey, you a Mary Fons, how are you? And I'm like, hi, but I don't really, so if I don't know. I don't want to screw this up. Okay, if you want to check out this gal who's making a kimono jacket, please do. Marianne has put in the chat her name. And if I knew how to raid her channel, which is a good thing, if I knew how to do that, we would do it. This is a good reason for me to figure that out, because it's real nice when you're a Twitch live streamer and some nice person raids your channel, because it helps you get viewers, it helps people get exposed to your channel and all of that. I just haven't had occasion to do it yet. So, but now I do. Okay. Hey, a raid. Okay, Chris Mess, you're here. A raid will send us all to that channel and I believe end your stream. Okay, I'm glad I didn't try it because we're not done yet. Oh no. At the end of their stream. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you for knowing about Twitch. I appreciate it. You raid before the end of the stream. Okay, so if she's still doing her thing at the end of this stream, we're going to raid her. She'll be like, who are these people? What's going on? And we'll be like, we're the nerds. We just showed up. We're like the Sharks or the Jets, you know? We show up, you know? And we're like a gang. And we'll tell her what we were looking at. I mean, does she know about these kimono jackets that were being made in the 1980s by art quilters all over the country, perhaps even around the world? No. Maybe she'll be very inspired. That's what this show's all about. That's what I want to have happen, people to be inspired. Okay, so I'm inspired by this quilt. There's one more Marjorie A. Claybrook quilt to look at. Yes, indeed. Okay. And sorry, I have to go back just one thing, because Kevin has information about this fabric that we're looking at. So Kevin says satin is not only a type of fabric, but it's also a weave pattern. Kevin, I'm living for this. In fact, it's the name of the weave pattern, shared by both satin and sateen. Really? Oh, interesting. While satin and sateen both share a luxurious softness and shine, their distinction comes down to the use of different fibers. Okay. That gets a nerd apple. Oh, somebody gifted a sub. I was like, oh. I sent a message to Mark or to Kevin, and his, the screen blew up. Mark, thank you so much. You're gifting a tier 1 sub to the community. That's so great. Thank you so much. Mark, thank you. Thank you. I think that'll count toward my goal of 50 subs for the month of December. Thank you. That's very generous, and we appreciate you. To Queen James the First, you got the sub. You got the subscription. It's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you, Mark. We hope you keep coming back to the show, Queen James, because we got a lot to share. And Kevin, you know a lot about fabric. I feel like you are, quilters know about fabric, but garment makers really know about different substrates, right? And I know that you make garments because you shared your wonderful quilted coat on our Discord, but what is your background? If you're comfortable telling us a little bit more, I would love to know, because that's really some deep information on satin and sateen, and I love it. I saw somebody asking about the radio interview. Yes, I did it on Iowa Public Radio this afternoon. It went pretty well. People who heard it liked it. I was not 1,000% happy with my performance, but pretty happy. It's weird talking into headphones into the void and you can't hear yourself, but I did okay. Thank you for asking. So yeah, here are some cats. Is this it? I think this is the last thing I have. Yeah, this is the last thing I have for Marjorie. Oh, and I want to read this. So Marjorie, let's see. Okay. Marjorie was educated at the University of Texas at Austin. She spent the early part of her adult life as a research chemist. A research chemist! Are you kidding me? And a freelance technical illustrator for chemical manuscripts. We're going to come back to the cats. Can I just remind you that this person who's making these awesome things, including the toucan, which randomly showed, this woman was a research chemist and freelance technical illustrator for chemical manuscripts. While living in Naples, Italy in the late 1960s, she became active in archaeological excavations. 'Cause, like you do. Really? That's so amazing. Her work has appeared in hundreds of national contemporary craft shows and also has been featured in PBS documentaries on the art quilt movement and numerous books, including 2 by historian Robert Shaw. That's interesting. Robert Shaw's books are on archive.org, and we can look at those online together and find perhaps more of her work, which would be interesting. During her last 10 years in Richmond, Marjorie was actively involved with the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, an English-speaking union. She is survived by her husband. This was in 2011. Okay. Yeah. So she's amazing, and she made quilts with lame sometimes, and sateen, and satin, and we love her. We love her. Hey, SJ, you can listen to my interview on Talk of Iowa. Talk of Iowa. Oh my gosh, RFF 1010. RFF 1010. It's the first time that you're here in the chat, and we welcome you. We're so glad that you're here. And if people in the chat could throw some welcome baskets at RFF 1010, that would be amazing. Make him or her feel very welcome. And RFF says, my cousin used to be the art director at the Atlanta airport. Are you what? I'm leaving. Are you wait, really? I just hit my green screen. Are you serious? Let me repeat. My cousin, quote, my cousin used to be the art director at the Atlanta airport? No, really. I'll ask her about the quilts. If you've just arrived, the quilts that we are looking at are by this amazing person who was like in archaeological digs. I only have 4 pictures of her quilts, so I keep going back and forth on them. But we've learned that 2 of her quilts are in a permanent installation at the International Terminal. The International Terminal, RFF 1010, of the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta. And because everything is a gift, what did I say earlier? Everything's a gift. Here in the chat is the cousin of the former art director at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. I'm just saying that the show is blessed. It's blessed. And you know what? If you didn't see it before, I have made a form. And this is my form that I use now. It's awesome. And I'm going to put in the show notes what just happened. You know, I'll write it later, but it's my little scrapbook. It's not only my content plan. It's my memory. It's my memories. It is my memories. It's freaking amazing. It's awesome. Okay. We got to move on. There's several other things. We're going to watch a short film. We're going to watch a 9-minute film. We have to get there. Okay, so here. There's 2 things. There's this next thing, and then there's the short film. It's animated. It's called the Magic Quilt. Don't go anywhere. It's amazing. Before we get there, I bought a quilt. And I need you all to tell me, do I want you to tell me if it was maybe ill-advised or not? It was an impulse buy. If there ever was an impulse buy, it was this. But it wasn't that expensive. I saw it on Etsy because I was looking for something else, a story of my life. And I saw it and I was like, ugh, what? And I clicked buy, okay? And this is the quilt. It's very strange. But it's also strange and wonderful. I just don't know. I don't know. Okay, here it is. I'm not a church-going lady. So I didn't get it because it's very, very, very much about Jesus and God. That's fine. That's fine. I love it because, OMG, like, it's a very interesting quilt, right? My fear is that it isn't that interesting. You know what? I'll tell you how much it was. It was like $130. And I did not think that was, is that right? It wasn't, if it was more than that, it wasn't much more than that. And it was in the United States. So of course I shipped it to Chicago, you know, so I'm not paying like crazy postage on it. Can you just give me your thoughts on this? Like what are we feeling about this? What are we talking, welcome baskets. Thank you, everybody. It's quirky. That it is. So let me give you some detailed pieces of it. Look, if it had been very, very expensive, I wouldn't have got it. This is not made by like a major artist, probably, right? But okay, Dia Marie isn't sure what she thinks. Susan's like, it's a passion project, RFF 1000%. Yeah, The Trump quilt, I told you I donated that to the museum. That's why you said that, Padma. It's Dee Marie isn't sure. It's telling an interesting story. That's the thing, is that when I see, I think it's simple actually why I was like, yeah, I want it. It's got words on it. It's pictorial, and it's not like perfect. When I see a quilt that has words on it, this looks like it says The Last Suppy, okay? This is what I'm talking about. I'm loving it. Let's look a little bit more closely, because I think it's the different blocks that are charming to me. You know, he prayed on the mountain. You know, here's this someone said, I'm going to make a figure laying his hand on a mountain. So let me figure out how to do that and then applicate it down. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, you know, time running out. Some of it's a little bit weird. We are free in Jesus. I mean, look at this. Look at the font. They traced that from some advertisement. I mean, those E's are extremely stylized, right? And look at the writing that they did here. God shall bring every work. I don't know. I love when it's rough like that. Look at this angel is writing the last judgment. They're judging this figure. It's really dark. I mean, in a way, it's really dark. Yeah, I know. I mean, it needed... Thank you. I just don't know. I think they're sewn. I think they're embroidered Christmas. I think it's embroidery flaws. Yeah, I know it's an R, but it looks like The Last Suppy. I don't know. Maybe it was a big mistake. So here's the thing. Oh, and then this is really kind of creepy. Is there a cross for me? I am your friend. I mean, that I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe it was. I mean, have you ever bought like a pair of pants that were like, you know, like they were really loud, you know, in some way, and you're like, I think they're gonna work. I think it's gonna work. I don't know. I feel good in them. I like how it looks. And then you get them home and you're like, what was I thinking? And my mom actually talks about wonder fabric. That fabric, you wonder why you bought it. It just sits in your fabric stash forever because you're like, I don't know how I would use that or what I was thinking. This is maybe a little bit like that, you know? But here's what I think. Here's what I think about this. Yeah, that's terrifying. I am your friend. It was clearly hanging in a church. I'll show you what I mean. You see? So, oh, look at that. I mean, the backing and the border, that floral. Yeah, Ivana says, what do you plan on doing with it? I mean, I feel like... like Charles. Hey, Jill. Yeah, Jesus looks a little like Charles Manson in that block. It's really true. Okay, Stephanie, thank you. I needed a word of encouragement, you know, a little bit, because it's a pretty neat quilt. I do think it is a pretty neat quilt. I think it was in a church, hanging, you know, as a decoration in a church, which is totally cool. And, you know, my aunt, Valerie, on my dad's side, my Aunt Valerie is very religious. And actually, that's interesting. My mom is a twin. She has a fraternal twin. Little known fact about Mary Ann Fons. Her twin brother David and his wife are extremely religious. They are evangelical Christians, and they are extremely religious. And you know, when you asked me, Ivana, nice Baptist fan, top quilting. Ivana is our, like, I don't know if you're our resident long armor. Well, Kevin, you're in a long armor too, and I got your email about your long arming. But Ivana, you were the first person I knew of the nerds who was a long armor, so I like that you were like Baptist fan. Like, that would be a good quilting pattern for it, and it would be. But you know, as soon as you ask me that, Stephanie, it's like, what am I going to do with this? What if maybe it's a gift. Maybe I got it as a gift. I didn't know it was going to be a gift. But like my Aunt Valerie up in Wisconsin has a restaurant called Bread and Water. She has a lot of, religious, dang it. What are you doing? What is wrong here? She has a lot of religious, like iconography and stuff in the restaurant. It's kind of weird. I don't don't know. But it's a whole thing. You know, she's into this. If I sent her this in the mail one of these days for Christmas, she'd be overjoyed. She would love this. And Uncle David and Aunt Barb, oh man. It'd be a pretty meaningful gift, actually, because, you know, my Uncle David is the twin brother of the quilting queen of America, my mother, Mary Ann Fons. It's really true. Yeah. Fiandor, Sunday school or mission project, 1,000%. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yes, Ivana, that restaurant is located on Washington Island. How do you know that? What? Tonight's show is officially kind of weird. I found the Sarah Wilson quilt, the Toucan Quilt, and now Ivana is aware of my aunt's restaurant on Washington Island, Wisconsin. I love it all, but it's very strange. When you were in Sister Bay, that's my Aunt Valerie. If you met my Aunt Valerie, you probably remember. She's intense. That's amazing. That's just amazing. Okay, so everybody, I'm overwhelmed. So that's the quilt that I bought. Okay, my Etsy quilt, check. We have 2 more things. She's lovely. My Aunt Valerie is. Everything is connected. Ivana, at some point we need margaritas. I'm just saying that. Are you going to QuiltCon? So now I've been, I like that. Quilter's deal in serendipity. Amen. Marianne, where is the spooky icon? That's a really good idea. It's going in my show notes. Spooky icon. That's actually good. We need to have that kind of thing to express ourselves in this way because there are spooky things that happen on this show. It's really true. Okay. Let's watch a film. Tonight's show is it's I don't know if it's going to be a marathon, but it's happening. It's all happening. Look at this. Look at what I found in my journeys. The Magic Quilt. So this website is the National Film Board of Canada website. Don't ask me how I got here. I don't know. But there is a little quilt. There's a little film. It's 12 minutes long. Okay, it's 12 minutes long. It was made in 1985. And it's called The Magic Quilt. And we're going to watch it together. It is extremely adorable. I have not watched all of it because you know I like to see these things with everybody. So we're going to watch it. And, I actually want my tequila straight as well. Salt and a lime. Right, Chris? Salt and a lime. It's got to be that way. And I like really nice tequila, like really nice. Patron Silver is like the low end. I mean, if you're going to drink tequila, drink really good tequila if you can. And if you can't drink really good tequila, don't drink it. Just drink water. So we're going to watch this film together, and I'll just read this to you in case you're listening and not watching looking at the screen, or if this is a little bit small for you, I will read it to you. It says, The Magic Quilt. In this short film, which mixes live action with cutout and embroidery animation and piecing, a group of children finds a magic quilt that is their passport to a voyage of discovery. They step inside the quilt, and as they travel through its velvet farmlands and satin cities, y'all are going to freak out. It's so cool. And as they do this, they experience the multiculturalism of Canada. The quilt is torn and the magic broken when a quarrel breaks out. Once the quilt is repaired and harmony restored, the children have learned that patience and goodwill are needed to mend and maintain quilts, friendships, and nations. Can I get a shot of tequila? Anyone? Everyone? Yes. Exactly. Great. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh no, Robin's Nest. You gotta find your shot. I don't drink the dark spirits. Rum. We talked about rum in here once. Rum and dark whiskey. It's terrible. I don't like it at all. Okay, so let's watch this movie together. And wait a minute. Where's my link? Hang on, I gotta find my link. My link is over here, I guess. Oh, no, there it is. We just press play. How about that? Okay, let me shut this down. I don't want that. Okay, you're all ready? Did you get your popcorn? I've got my chips. I have a glass of wine, but I haven't had it. Maybe it's time. I mean, it is 10 o'clock. Okay, let's watch this. And I'm going to give my commentary so that we don't get any trouble with the copyright people. It's 12 minutes and 55 seconds, so settle in, And this is by Bettina Malone, The Magic Quilt, 1985. Let's see what happens. Canadian. I was barely 6 years old in 1985. I would have been here for this little movie all day. I mean, these kids, now I'm really bad at judging the ages of kids. How old are these kids? 6? 7? Well, they're different ages. Okay, so Dee Marie is saying 7 to 9. Okay, yeah, that's, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. No, I'm not gonna talk. Okay, just watch.
What'd you find, Brenna? What's this? I want this. This is neat.
Okay, I thought the thing that's gonna happen was about to happen. It wasn't, but it's gonna happen. Okay.
This is shiny. It's a quilt. The person must have put a lot of work into it. I wonder what it's doing out here. Looks like a blanket. Nah, it's a sleeping bag. Maybe it's a rug. Or
that could be me. I'm just saying. She's got braces. She's wearing a red jumper. She's dorky. I mean, that's pretty much me at about 11 or so. Oh God, it was just no self-confidence. Okay. Okay.
Oh, hey, that must be some country. Somebody's getting Here's some needles and thread and stuff. Hey, let's spread it out and look at it. What are you doing? We're taking it off. We're gonna spread it out. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It sure is.
Look at it. It's so great.
Oh, these look kind of like fields. Look at this. Look at the nice colors. It looks like a map.
It looks like a map. It looks like a map. I don't know if Bettina made this quilt, but I think so. Oh, okay. And look at this. Does anybody, I can't zoom in. This fabric, this green fabric with the polka dots and the little bouquets of flowers. If you were alive and anyone who you knew had fabric in the house, this fabric was in the house. Am I right? Am I right? By the way, in the chat, there is discussion of having a subscriber-only chat at some point where we do shots. I got to give you a perk somehow, you know, for the subscribers. I want to show you my appreciation. Let's do shots. Okay.
This is really pretty.
She's adorable. Here. Look.
Hey, come look at this one. What is it? That's neat. Look at the hat. Look at how small that one is.
Aww,
yeah.
They're so sweet.
Must be a little kid.
Yeah. Must be a little kid.
That guy has braces. He doesn't have braces. He has a mustache. Yeah. No, that's braces. That's a mustache. That It's funny, a guy with a beard. Hey, you guys.
Right?
Look at this.
I wonder what's in here.
Uh-oh.
Look!
Get under cover.
Did you see that? Did you see it? The way the rain was? Okay, 2:59. Sorry, I just got to show you that again. Stop motion animation. I mean, if I could do anything else in this world, I would want to be a public intellectual and on like talk shows and be old, like 80 years old and be a public intellectual like Fran Lebowitz or something. Anyway, but if I couldn't do that, I would do stop motion animation.
Uh-oh.
Watch the rain.
Come on, let's get under cover.
Yeah. Okay, Julie, exactly, right? It's just fun. It's fun. It's about a quilt. It's called the Magic Quilt.
We're getting out of whip. Get out of here.
Oh no, they're all wet.
Hey, this looks like a map. A great big map.
It looks sort of familiar. I know what country this is. Do you?
This is Yugoslavia. No, it isn't. I think it's Canada. What's Canada?
Yugoslavia. Not a thing anymore. It wasn't 85. I mean, obviously, right? See, we learn things here. A lot of good ideas in this quilt and video. Oh, okay, Julie, this, I mean, the description for this is like, you know, soul affirming. It's great. It's great.
It's where we live, stupid. Canada, eh? Pretty.
Canada, eh?
I like the ocean part.
Do we have Canadians in the chat tonight? If so, let us know.
Hey, you guys. I think this quilt has magic.
Whoa!
Hey, you kids, watch out for that ball.
Oh.
I can't live without you.
Hey, what's the matter for you?
Sorry, mister. Oh, you broke my heart.
It's so great. I mean, it's like New York City. I mean, it does seem that way, right? It could be any big city, but this sitting on the stoop kind of thing, the oh sole mio, you know, like up to the roof or to the balcony. I'm getting a very New York vibe. Of course, this was made in Canada. It's about all cultures coming together. I mean, that's the whole point, right? But very New York, right?
Look out up there.
Tim Natar, Marianne, interesting.
I think all these must be nice to
What's
live
it all
by the
about?
ocean. Those are big waves.
Hey. Yeah, they sure are.
This guy looks just like my uncle. He lives right here by this river.
C'est tranquille.
I remember I went to his house for the summer once. Wound up staying till winter.
Amazing.
Boy, I nearly froze to death. It was sure fun.
Wow.
Je pense que c'est prêt.
Attention, c'est chaud.
French speakers, I mean, they didn't say a lot. We could probably, infer what they were saying. But what was that? Translation, please?
Ça se peut-tu?
Ça sent bon, par exemple.
Okay, I'm gonna go back. French speakers. Tell us what's going on in the scene. And by the way, also, I feel like, and Kevin, I don't want to put you on the spot. Like, you know so much about fabric. Surely you know so much about, embroidery and not crewel work. Is it crewel work? But this is, I mean, the snow here is really amazing. This tapestry kind of thing. Does anyone know about this? I mean, look at this little car. It's so incredible. It's so incredible. Yes, it's so Canada. Quilty Nancy, I love this too. And yeah, like Sewing Karen is like, this is fantastic, and Quilty Nancy is like, I love this. I love you that you love this. But yeah, so if French speakers know, and if you're an embroidery person or a tapestry person, I don't know, the tracks in the snow. I mean, I'm dead, right? Okay.
Je pense que c'est prêt.
Attention, c'est chaud.
Ça se peut, tu.
This is so cute.
Ça
Look at the
sent
baby.
Bon, par exemple.
Wait. Oh no.
Émile. Niaiseux.
Ugh. Yes, Carol, I agree. Wow.
I'm cold. You're fussy.
Oh my god. Wow. Sorry. It wasn't, well, it is a little dated in certain ways, but the guitar solo is, I mean, I love it. This is no criticism at all. It's amazing. It's perfect. The bread is ready. Okay. Sewing Karen is saying some of that scene was about the bread is ready. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Because it was like flying through the air and yeah. This music, the saxophone, is every montage in every 1985 movie that wasn't like a horror film, right? I'm thinking of Tootsie, my favorite movie of all time, number one, favorite movie of all time, Tootsie. And when Tootsie goes with Jessica Lange to visit her dad in the country, da-na-na, da-na-na. I mean, I can hear it in my head. I've watched Tootsie so many times. It's the montage scene, you know, when Dustin Hoffman's character is falling in love with Jessica Tandy, and it's the montage. And it sounds like this. Careless Whisper, RFF, Careless
These lakes are full of ducks. I wish I could go swimming. So do I. There's tons of mountains.
I see you, Kevin.
Look
It's
at
great.
these. They look like lakes and rivers.
My grandmother lives right here. Right in the middle of the quilt. I went to visit her last summer. And I took the train home all by myself. There was this bald man.
What was he doing?
Oh, just reading some dumb newspaper.
I missed that. Oh, that's so cool. I love it.
I can't understand how somebody could ride a train and not want to look out the window. I mean, there was so much to see.
Nothing ever changes. Look at what the paper says.
I can't understand how somebody could ride a train and not want to look out the window. I mean, there was so much to see.
Oh, the train is so good. Oh, wow. Amazing. Oh, it's beautiful.
By the time I got home, it was fall. That's almost as much fun as summer.
Oh. Oh.
I like raking up the piles of leaves and then jumping.
So, sorry, I do have a question here. What is that fabric? So Kevin has just put really, really great info in here about embroidery, seed stitch, chain stitch, running stitch. Reminds you of paper dolls, same. What is the fabric I'm looking at here? What is that? I've seen that a million times. It's a weave, right? I mean, it's, yeah, woven, but like, what is it? You can see the texture, right? Like, I've got a pretty big monitor. I mean, it's almost like that kind of fabric you see on wall treatments. What is that? Sparkly loves embroidery. It's what got her into quilting. Interesting. Twill or linen. Okay. Yep. And Susan, I don't know. I don't know if Bettina Malone made the quilt or not. I have some information on her, but there was very little I could find. Very little I could find. So we're thinking twill or linen. Okay.
I like raking up the piles of leaves and then jumping.
Okay. And hex, good.
Hey, look. This is my favorite part. All these little islands. These are all mine.
Says who? I want some of those.
Oh.
Move off.
No way, you move.
Uh-oh.
I like the green. No, me. I don't want the blue. I want the red.
Settle down.
Who cares what you want?
Hey, you guys. Be
Your
careful.
leg's on my side.
Here's the line. Get.
Stop shoving me.
I was here first.
Uh-oh.
Wait a sec. Look what you're doing.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Gonna wreck it.
It's fine.
Oh no, it's all ripped up.
This is the conflict. We have a crisis moment. This is the crisis.
Well, what are we gonna do?
Who cares?
Let's go home.
Oh, no. Everything's ruined. Everything's ruined because of the conflict.
It's fine.
Oh no, it's
no.
all ripped up.
And that is definitely me at that age. Okay.
Well, what are we gonna do?
Who cares?
Let's go home.
Oh.
Do you think we ripped up the magic?
There wasn't any magic.
Yes, there was.
Look, you guys, we've wrecked it. It was so nice before.
Well, there's sure no magic now.
Yeah, you see, it doesn't work anymore. What are we gonna do?
Well, we could try and fix it.
I don't know how to sew.
That's a girl's job.
Oh!
What's a boy's job then?
Ripping it up.
If you don't keep fixing
That's
it,
pretty
it
good.
falls apart.
That's pretty good, actually.
But I don't know how to fix it.
Well, you just try, and after a while you get better at it.
A boy's job is ripping it up, and a girl's job is fixing it. Let it be known. One of my favorite comedians, Patton Oswalt, has made the point that the best films, it seems, many of the great films, a male director and a female producer. Because the male director is like, "Rah!" Like here's my vision, here's my stuff, here's all my, blah. And then the woman comes in and is like, okay, lovely, very good. We're gonna do this. We're gonna, and she sort of like is selective, right? Where the man, director is like, here's all my vision, and and the woman is like, okay, let's. So it just reminded me of that because the man tears things up and the woman comes in, makes it better. I'm just saying.
This isn't so hard.
This is great. They're fixing it.
Look, the magic is back. It's working.
Yay! gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Hey, it stopped raining.
Hey. I feel like everything they say starts with,
Let's
hey.
go outside and have a party.
Great. We've got tequila. Let's do it. Whoa. Oh my God. Is that a doll? No, it's real. A real person. Wait. Hold on. Let's see the full quilt again. Wow. That was, I mean, with the kid being, I don't know. I wouldn't do that with a quilt. I would do it with a trampoline or something. Anyway, let's just finish it up. There's a minute of credits or ending stuff. Okay. Ivana, I'll put it in the chat. Okay. Blanket toss. Okay. Actually, can somebody for Ivana put the link to the QuiltCon schedule, like the online catalog, like find the right. Dee Marie, you're really good at this. Dee Marie, and so not everybody is like trying to do it and having to do it. Dee Marie, could you find the QuiltCon schedule and put the link in the chat for Ivana? Because she's wanting to know what time it's over on Sunday. Interesting. You know, Mark, you're welcome, K. Julie. I mean, I live for this stuff. I love it. I'm so, it's that nerd vibe. I'm feeling it hardcore tonight. And yeah, Mark, like who has, look at that. There it is. So, I mean, it's Canada, you know? It's beautiful. Here's the States down here. And here's this beautiful Canadian vista, you know? And all these little books. Oh, that's so interesting. All these little books that they looked at are different points in Canada. I didn't see that before, right? When we were down in the animation. I love these little figures around the quilt with the hearts in between. You know, hey, you know what? That is a great motif. That is a simple, great motif for any pictorial quilt, but anything. I mean, a person and a heart and a person and a heart and a person and a heart. It's gorgeous. It's perfect. Yeah, and so there's questions about, thanks, Dee Marie, really appreciate it. There's questions about the quilt itself, like where is it, and you know, is it in a collection or whatnot? I don't know. When I was looking at Bettina Malone, and I mean, I could do it now. She made another one. Let's just watch it. You know, there's no time limit on this show. If you need to bow out, I totally get it. But there's another, it's a shorter one that she made. And I mean, I could bring Bettina back one day, but maybe we just do a Bettina, it's a 9-minute thing. And it's so lovely. And it's about Canada. It's the same kind of thing, but it's different. It's different. I'm just going to get it. I'm just going to play it. And it's cool. Like, I don't know. I always am afraid, like, it's like when you're throwing a party, you're worried if anybody's going to show up, worried if they're having a good time. I'm overly concerned about those things. So I am definitely like, I don't know if I play another film, they might not like it. They might leave. If you need to go, it's okay. It's okay. But I'm going to play another movie, this other film that I found by her, because it's amazing. She's amazing. And I can't find anything about her, okay? So maybe you all can help me, but I mean, all I found were descriptions about the Magic Quilt movie, nothing about her. So let me get to this. Hang on. And I'll go here. And there's this. And it is, hang on. It's called, hang on, it's called Bettina Malone. Hang on. now I've said I want to play it and now I can't find it, but I'll find it. Hang on. So yeah, I mean, if you have to go, that's okay. I understand. Here it is. I found it. Okay. It's called Distant. Oh, it's 6 minutes. It's 6 minutes long. And it's really special. It's really special. And it's just, yeah, let's just watch it. This short animation uses applique and embroidered tapestries to recall a young girl's happy summers spent sailing with her family off the coast of British Columbia. Each tapestry, meticulously stitched by hand with brightly colored yarns, evokes the memory of leisurely days at sea, drifting among the islands. But what I watched of this one, there's more to it than that, okay? There's more to it than that, and I'm gonna play it, okay? Yeah, I know the workshops are sold out, Ivana, at QuiltCon. They go really quick. I'm all about the Modern Quilt Guild, but I do, it's been every year now, like every year for many years. If you don't get in the moment they open registration, the workshops sell out so fast. Like, don't think that because you're only looking into QuiltCon now that you like missed the boat. That stuff sells out so quick. It's almost kind of, it seems like kind of unfair almost. And maybe I'm wrong. I didn't try to sign up for a workshop. Maybe it's better than that. But like, everything's always sold out. Like when I look at QuiltCon schedules, like after a registration has opened, it seems like everything's gone. So a lot of people are probably like, I wish I could get into a workshop. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's watch it. It's 6 minutes. 1981, so this predated the other one, okay? It's really, really interesting, yeah. This one, yeah. I wonder what they're doing now, like the film board, you know? Do they still help make this kind of thing?
I was never a Girl Guide. Not even a brownie. Because we went sailing most weekends. Across the Gulf. Toward my distant islands. Until the mountains faded beyond Vancouver. We sailed into the eyes of the whirlpools, where the tide ran fast between the islands. I remember a boat there, wrecked on the rocks. That could never happen to us. I knew, because my mother and father were steering.
Interesting. Just the write-down says, I think my sister-in-law's mother worked for the National Canadian Film Board during this era. Will inquire, because that's tonight's show, is this very strange, like, crazy connections, you know? Yes, and Rox is saying beautiful fiber painting or thread painting. I mean, it's embroidery, Rox. Like that's what we're seeing, and piecing. Some of this piecing up here. Again, this twill. I think that makes sense. Seeing a big piece of it totally looks like twill, but I mean, it's embroidery, Rox. I mean, it's like crewel work. Is it? Marianne was saying that seems about right. It's amazing. Look at that. Look, he just popped up. You know, like out of the thing. Hey, Melty.
We used to go ashore for blackberries. But I always ate more than I picked.
Everybody welcome Melty in the chat. First time
off
in the
by
chat.
Myself.
Okay, yeah.
Such a lonely old house that was, hidden away in the woods. Its broken windows stared like empty eyes, looking for the people who once lived there. They'd gone off somewhere years before and they'd never come back.
This was the first one I saw of the two. And just one comment about this is the timbre of this little animation, or the feel of it, the mood. I don't know. I don't read YA literature these days. I know a lot of people do, even though if they're not in that particular demographic, whatever. And I mean, I see some films that are maybe geared toward younger people, but I mean, I hope that there's this kind of tone to some of the material that's like out there for kids or young people, because what I saw of this, it's half over already, but like what I saw of this it's fairly melancholy and sort of sad, frankly. And I was like, wow, like, I don't know. So I just wonder if you all have kids in your lives, like, and you know the kind of media and things that they're consuming, like, how does this compare?
Houses need people.
Bye, Stephanie.
Maybe that's why it drew me with a magical power I could never resist.
Glad you're here, Melty.
At first I thought the house was empty. Just me and the weeds.
It's dark. I mean, you can see it's dark in the house, right? It's pretty intense. Look at that. Amazing. Ah, the piano! Are you kidding? Wow.
A house without people? Surely not. They must be here somewhere.
I mean, as a kid, I would be terrified.
Then I saw them.
I wouldn't be in there.
Saw them in that way that only children can see. We returned to the island many times.
Mm-hmm.
And then one year, the house was gone. It had rotted away in the winter rains.
Look at that, the water. She's so good at water, right? Amazing. Love the cigarette.
At night, my parents talked in their soft way. The waves lapped on the hull. And I dreamt of the family in the magical house.
Here's the quilt.
They came to me in those years whenever I wanted them. They were always together. So were we.
Wow.
All that was long ago. My mother and father sail without me now. I am steering my own course. And it has taken me far from the distant islands of my childhood.
Beautiful. I mean, look at that. Bettina. Now, I want to just see Melty. I'm so glad you're here, Melty. I mean, it sounds like you've been here, but you're here in the chat, and we were really glad. So if I click on this link, I think it'll pop me out of the film, so I'm going to copy it. But Melty said, if anybody missed it, looks like Bettina had a name change at some point. So maybe I couldn't find things on her because her name has changed. So I'm gonna do that. And the last thing I have for you all tonight is a very quick thing. So I'm gonna wind up the show, wind down the show. But I'm gonna click on this thing and see. I just wonder what she's doing now. Oh, look at this. Oh, man. Melty, I'm glad you're here. This is amazing. Oh. Okay, we're going to listen to this wonderful music while I read the thing. Okay. Bettina Matzkuhn, Matzkuhn, brings a diversity of experience to her practice as a visual artist. Prior to studies in visual arts and liberal studies at Simon Fraser University, BFA in 2000, MA in 2005, she spent much of her youth traveling with her parents on a sailboat. I want to just loop this music. She learned to read nautical charts, mastering the art of distinguishing dangerous rocks and reefs from safe harbors. Her mother taught her to piece fabric, embroider, and mend, skills she continues to use in her work today. I don't know when this was written, but we'll find it. She has exhibited in numerous solo shows, most recently Inundation, 2003. Okay, so this is older. And Navigating in 2007. And group shows in... I'm looping it. In British Columbia, Alberta, Ontario, and Korea. As a young woman, she proposed storyboards for 3 animated films to the National Film Board. Not only were her proposals accepted, her short films, The Hometown in 1979, Distant Islands, which we just watched, and The Magic Quilt, 1985, all won prestigious awards. Directed under her married name, Malone. Melty, you are in the right place, by the way. Thank you for this. This is amazing. The films combine animation with applique and sewing techniques, creating richly textured and engaging narratives that bring childhood memories to life. A passion for geography and map making drives much of her current work. In Navigating, 2007, she explores language, metaphor, and the visual. Oh, it's quite long. Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderfully long. I can't read this. I can't read it all. If it was early in the night, perhaps. But no, it's too long. Let me show you how long it is, which is awesome. Melty, where have you been all our lives? Look at this. Okay, here's the quilt. Fabulous picture of it. It's amazing. It's got buttons on it. Yeah, buttons for the books. That's a great picture of it. Way, way better than we had before. And this is from, what is this from? I'm not sure. A catalog of artworks from the Surrey Art Gallery's permanent collection. But look how great this is all about her. Or maybe it's about some other artist. Okay, that's fine. But whatever it is, you'll have the link in the Discord. And I love it. I love it. It's so wonderful. Yeah, no, I think it's all about her. Ha ha. The artist statement. Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to read any of the artist statement about the Magic Quilt because that is the perfect thing for you to do, you know, from the Discord, right? That's why we have the Discord, is because we can't do everything here. And it's just fun to nerd out. It's like if you're, you know, it's like 10 o'clock. I mean, it's 10:45 here, but if Eric's playing a video game or something and I need to do show notes or something, or if I'm just, this is the kind of thing I click on and look at, you know, it's a good kind of content. It's not going to harm you in any way. You know, it's not going to shock you. Just learn something and learn about this wonderful person. And so I'll put it in the Discord and you can read about it. And the last thing I have to tell you is 2 seconds long. And it's just this. It's just this. Laura Fisher, the great quilt collector. Some of you know the name, some of you don't. I can't remember. Somebody put this in the Discord. I knew Laura Fisher died recently, within the last month or two. But she was one of the preeminent quilt collectors in the country for decades. Decades. Very famous, very established. New York? I think. I don't know. New England or New York. Look at this. Laura Fisher Quilts estate sale. The estate of Laura Fisher Quilts will be sold at auction in the spring of 2022. So I don't know your life. I don't know what you're into or what kind of collection you're working on or have, but that's a big deal. So if you want information about that, I mean, I mean, I want to do a whole show on Laura Fisher. I just don't know much about her, and I need to know way more about her to even approach that. But this is a big deal. So if you are interested, you should get information from Marion Harris at 860-604, blah, blah. Okay? Or email her. Or him. I don't know, Marion. So that's the show, everybody. What did we do? What did we do tonight? We did... I can't even... Oh, no. Oh, look what I can do. I can look at my Quilt Nerd content plan. We talked about how I'm going home to Chicago on Thursday. And this is very important, actually, the schedule that I just updated on the Discord and I just updated on Twitch. One of the things I'm going to do now, I'm going to do the show notes. Sometimes I know they come the next day, but it takes a lot out of me, to do all this stuff. It's really true. I'm going to do show notes. I'm going to make my thumbnail. And I'm going to update the schedule again because one thing I didn't say, it's so important. When I'm back, no, I did say, when I'm back in the States, the Tuesday and Thursday shows, they're not going to be at 11 a.m. Most of them anyway. They're going to be, in the evening because I want to try, what does it mean to do this show at the 7 o'clock hour in the United States? So just keep the schedule, in your mind if you like this show and you want to watch it. So just check that schedule on Twitch. So we talked about that. We talked about Iowa Public Radio. We looked at the crazy quilt that's behind me. It was amazing and weird. We looked at American Girl dolls, inspiration quilts, Marjorie Claybrook and her Amish Toucan, the Bible quilt that I bought as a gift for someone in the future. We watched animation, and that was really fun. So I appreciate you, everyone who subscribed and followed and who supports this show just by being here. I mean, it's the best. So I'm so excited to go stateside. I was born there, so going to America is going to feel great. And there's bonus shows all month. So subscribe if you haven't. It's really great if you do. It makes me feel real good. And have a lovely night. And please be safe. Please do be safe. And yeah,